Well, first off, hello and welcome to WonderCon. How's it feel to be here?
Great. Lots of fun.
It's always fun to be at the conventions.
Nice. Now, you both have a rich background working in science fiction on very well-loved titles, Stargate, Outpost, Independence Day, the list goes on. What did you bring from those experiences to the Ark?
Oh, wow. I didn't really bring anything from those experiences. I brought something to all of them in common, which is a love for genre TV and science fiction, and sort of more lighthearted, fun science fiction,
Yeah, I think that the projects you just mentioned have this one thing in common, which is that they're pretty optimistic looks at humanity.
And sci-fi doesn't always trend that way. Was there a focus to be more tonally a certain kind of way for this show going in? Did you have that in mind?
Sure. I think that this show really is a love letter to the kind of science fiction shows that Jonathan and I grew up watching and loving and motivating us to get involved in this genre writing. So it is a throwback show. I think the people who get it really get it. And those who don't, if they stick around and watch enough, they eventually will.
Nice. Tell me about the inception of the show and how you got involved with the project.
So I was having lunch with a friend of mine named Michael Wright, who used to run TNT, and he was just lamenting how he missed a certain type of science fiction show, and that he loved this idea of diverse characters stuck in a small space, and how every decision is a life and death decision, and that I couldn't get it out of my head. So in the weeks afterwards, I went off and I wrote a pilot. I wrote a script. And when Sci-Fi Channel said that they liked it and wanted to do it, I had to beg this guy to come on board because I couldn't imagine doing this with anyone other than Jonathan.
Yeah, he answered the question because he brought me in on the show and I read the pilot and loved it and said, yeah, I'm there. Let's do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you're like, maybe we should change this, or did you have any particular input at the beginning?
Only questions. Where does this go? Who did kill him? Who, all those types of things. And a lot of which his answer was, you figure it out.
Yeah. No, I said, look, I don't want to tell you. I want to see where you guys go because I so admire his writing. I said, look, if I hate something, then I'll kind of tell you what I was thinking. But that never happened. Every time he would tell me, well, this is what we're thinking for the next episode, I'd get all excited. It was like I was a viewer watching the show.
Now, with the different sci-fi backgrounds you've both had, is there ever been moments where you're like, wait, I don't think it would work that way? Or, hey, this should go a different way? Or was there any kind of different input because you both have worked on similar and different kind of projects? And that seems like an interesting pairing for two sci-fi fans and like aficionados.
For sure. I mean, I had never done serialized television until we worked together on The Outpost. And I really got an education from Jonathan on that. So, sometimes I would have an instinct on something and John would say, okay, but we're going to get in trouble by episode 7. And I'd be like, okay, I see what you're saying. And so I think the thing is we share a lot of the same tastes, so it makes working together really easy. But I'm always open to learning from Jonathan because he brings new tricks to the bag all the time.
And me from him. It's amazing. We're like brothers from another mother or something. We really have very similar tastes, especially in genre stuff.
And then speaking of taste and what you mentioned diversity, tell me about the casting process and what kind of team you wanted to bring to your characters and crew.
Well, one of the advantages of shooting in Serbia is that you can really cast from all across Europe. In the United States, it's hard with visas and flying people in. So we were able to cast from, we have one cast member from Spain, one from Germany, one Zimbabwe, Canada, the UK. So we really were able to have this kind of diverse pool of actors. But then what's interesting is all of them left their homes to go be in Serbia for months at a time. So their real life was not that different from the character's life in that they're away from home, they're away from their families, and they only have each other. And so this off-screen life developed between the actors that really showed up on camera.
So you made them do method acting, essentially.
We locked them in a hotel and said, you can't go anywhere.
We won't let you take a flight out of there to go visit your family. Stay here.
Has there ever been a moment with the actor's portrayal of something you worked on that surprised you or made you think of it differently?
All the time, especially with this bunch of actors. I can't tell you how many times we've been watching dailies and said, oh, that's interesting. She played that like something's going on there that we hadn't thought of. And then we'd go, play with it in the script, and go down a different path sometimes.
I think that's one of the mistakes that happens on a lot of shows is they overly plan out every storyline and every character, and then they miss what's happening on set. We had certain ideas that changed when we saw the performances, and he'd call me up and say, I think there's something really cool between these two, or I didn't know this actor had those abilities. Maybe we go more comic with this. And that's, to me, when it gets really fun doing a television series is there's your work, but there's also watching how the actors are interpreting it and how they're developing the characters. And when those things can work together in harmony, you can really go some fun places.
So is there some room for improv for the actors as well?
Not a lot, although Richard, who plays Bryce, does ad-lib some of his jokes. He's very funny, and every once in a while he'll do a take the way we wrote it, and then he'll do 3 more takes that are funnier, and we'll use them.
Have you ever tried to be like, I'm trying not to laugh, I'm not laughing, we're not going to break the,
I always break up because I always forget that I'm the one directing. I'll sit there like behind the monitor, and I'll get a tap on my shoulder, and I'll look at the first idea. I go, what? And he goes, do you want to say cut? Oh, whoa, it's over. Okay, yeah, cut. Because I get lost in it. I so enjoy watching them.
Yeah, nice. And then with these journeys of these characters, was there anything that surprised you? You've kind of talked about how things have changed, but is there anything that just blew your mind specifically that comes to mind? Or maybe that's to come.
Yeah, that's why I'm humming. It's like I don't want to do any spoilers, sure. But there's some pretty wild stuff coming down the pike on the show.
Yeah. Stick with us. We've got 3 more episodes left, or 4 more episodes left, yeah. And it gets wilder each one.
All right. And then if people haven't checked out the show, what is your elevator pitch of why they should watch The Ark?
I tell people, when you watch this, expect just a roller coaster ride, a pure escapism. It's meant to just be fun. It's not meant to be this heavy message. And if you go into it that way, you're going to have a blast. You're just going to be entertained.
Well said.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or tell the fans?
Keep watching, and thank you for watching so far.
Yeah, we appreciate the support. It's been very surprising. It's been building every single week, and it feels like it's turning into a real community. And that's when making TV is really fun, when the audience doesn't just watch it, but they feel like it's their show, like they have some ownership over it. And that seems to be happening more and more every week. So yeah, we're real happy about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Nice talking to you.
Likewise.